ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to another edition of the What's Going Down podcast. And what's going down? That certainly is the question of the day. We all know what's going down tonight. Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson. And don't worry, we will have you out here before the 15-second fight begins. I, of course, am your host tonight, big time Jimmy Larson. And of course, my co-host is here. He's the real Iron Mike, although his name isn't Mike. But Mr. CT Bishop is here.
What's going down, everybody? How are you doing this evening? Yes, we'll have you out before the fight.
And the question is, why I called you the real Iron Mike. How is your Iron Mike doing tonight?
It looks like it's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Everybody complains all the time, and if you complain tonight, we'll send Mike Tyson after you to go and punch you in the face. But speaking of them getting punched in the face, where can they contact us if they want to complain about that comment?
Well, if they want to contact us in the email at whatsgoingdowntoday@gmail.com. That's right. Whatsgoingdowntoday@gmail.com. Also, we have Guess what we have? Guess what we have? We have a Discord server. So if you're part of Discord and you want to join the Discord server, the link to the invite is right down below. Click on it and, contact us there. Or if you want, you can contact us on the Facebook page. The Facebook page, it is official. We have it. We've had it for a couple weeks now. Contact us there. And of course, if you have Twitter, you can contact me on Twitter at Rev Mercado. That's right. That's at REVMERCADO. All that stuff is in the description box below.
So it's not that cord, it's Discord. Is that right?
Yep, Discord. That's right.
All right. So we got the Discord, and we have the not what's going down tomorrow at Gmail, but what's going down today at gmail.com.
See, I was trying to put it as what's going down yesterday, but nah, that was too corny. But anyway.
Well, where else can they find you if they want to see more?
All right, if you want to see my comedy skits, you got to go to the Josue Skits YouTube page. That is in the description box below. That is where you will see me act a fool, wear a wig, put on makeup, do some crazy stuff on video. You might see me sing. You never know. Whatever comes to mind. Also on the Tuesday Night Tussle YouTube channel. That is where, guess what? That is where I take fights. I make comments. I do skits from time to time. But if you really want to, see the good stuff, check out the archives. And that's where you'll see big time Jimmy Larson. And, you can talk more about that if you want.
Well, you said you act a fool. Who are you, BMX or DMX? Some MX?
Well, I do when I do my skits, you never know. I can go from crazy where I put on a wig and, turn my shirt inside out and try to look like feminine, like a very ugly drag queen or something. You never know. You never know what I'll do in these videos, man.
This isn't in the the format at all, but I'm gonna bring up that we got a comment here that was just texted to me because I've been watching a lot of these reliving the wars that another channel is doing, and they've been talking about the Monday Night Wars, and they're talking recently about the Booty Man. Okay. And it's in the transition period where Ed Leslie disappears from Nitro as Booty Man, and when he comes back, he's no longer Booty Man. And somebody has told me, well, apparently he went and found some bootios. And now we know the mystery of what they mean when they say they make sure you ain't booty. But anyway, if you want to see more of me, you can check out my channel. It's in the link in the description below. The Big Time Jimmy Larson YouTube channel, where you can watch all of my shows, including The brand new show that was posted a few weeks ago, we posted the first episode, Time Out at the Arcade, where I will review mini arcade cabinets that are coming out in a retro formation. You can also check out my main show, At the Movies. At the Movies is the show that you want to see. We are on week number 14, just came out yesterday, with the start of the Christmas countdown with It's a Wonderful Life. And I'll tell you, it's not a wonderful life, but I'll get to that in a minute. Because first we're going to talk about what's going on next week. Although, you know what? No, we'll talk about next week after. I want to get this off my chest.
Please, please.
Yesterday, I posted my It's a Wonderful Life review, and it was blocked within 3 minutes of being posted on YouTube. Not because I used clips from It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, no. It's because of a clip from another show that I'm not even going to promote them. But they caused my video to get blocked. So I had to cut that portion of the video in order to get the video unblocked. And it is available for your viewing pleasure. But they did not succeed in ruining the video because it works as another joke. So the joke is on them, and it's funnier than anything that's ever been produced on their show, and I'm sticking to that.
Yep. Definitely.
It's a lot of work to bring this content to each and every one of you, the viewers.
I mean, I could tell. I mean, I could tell you were ticked off, man. You were like really, really PO'd.
Well, I rushed to get the video up so that the viewers could see it because I was going to be heading off to work, and so I posted it early just so I could get out to work, and then I got to go to work with all this crap on my head because of this error.
Yeah,
and it's not right.
No, it's not. It's not. You know, and I mean, how many times can you know when posting to YouTube, especially whether it's a review or a parody or whatever, you know, or a reaction video, they're gonna try to block you or whatever. And how many times?
The interesting thing is, though, that other people have that entire video on their YouTube channel, and that was not blocked.
Yeah. I wonder. I wonder. Because how many times can you fight? You know, the block or the copyright claim or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't even bother with this one. But I let them have it this time.
I mean,
I would like to let them have it.
Right. I hear you. I hear you. I've had a. I mean, I've gone to a point with certain things where I just don't care about the copyright claims or anything. You know, and you know, I'm just tired of freaking having to submit a form. Submit a form for whether it's royalty free music or whatever, you know, anything, or using a clip of a show or a news report or whatever, a movie, anything. It's like, what the heck, you know? Ugh.
Yeah, like one of mine is copyright claimed for one particular clip, and it makes me wonder. It's like, so I'm allowed to use any clip from that movie I want, but not that one.
Exactly.
That one's sacred. How dare you use that one? We're going to copyright claim on you for that one.
It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous that they're gonna, you know, do all of that. I mean, come on now.
I don't know, but anyway, we always give the reveal of what next week's episode will be, and next week's episode is a great one.
Yes.
Featuring some special guests, including you.
Yeah.
Next week, reviewing the Santa with Muscles with Hulk Hogan. And you were the reason we did this one, because it was not originally on my list to be done this year. And you said, well, you know what? You should do Santa with Muscles.
Yep.
And you said, if you do that, I'll collaborate it with you in some way. So we put that together, and we spent more time on that review than we did on any other review we've done so far. And I think that the hard work definitely paid off. And there's going to be a special commercial.
Yeah.
there's going to be a special commercial to lead up to that review that will be uploaded tomorrow to the Big Time Jimmy Larson YouTube channel. So check that out as well.
I tell you, I had so much fun on that review. It was just, if I can only go back to the bloopers, that's all I get. That's all.
And I sent you bloopers from that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's always fun when you're reviewing a bad movie.
Yeah.
And speaking of bad movies,
Yep.
we learned today of a movie that's going to be coming out. I'm assuming direct to DVD.
Yeah.
It's starring our good buddy Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
He is going to be in a action thrill ride called COVID-19 Invasion. But I'm a little confused by the plot that a swarm of bats attacked the American people and caused the COVID-19.
Yep.
Is that what happened? I don't remember hearing about these bats flying all the way over here and attacking people.
Well, the first story that was told to us, over the news when everything came from China, and I'm not gonna get political, so don't think I'm gonna get political.
I already know the story of the bat. That was meant to be a joke.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm just really ticked off. I'm really ticked off that seriously, come on, you're gonna do a movie called COVID-19 and it's gonna.
And who exactly? He's aiming a gun on the cover. Who is he shooting at? Is he shooting at the infected people?
What is there? Are people going to turn into zombies or something? What?
That's what I'm wondering. It's like you see
the
the images. The people are dressed in these metal suits. They're not even dressed in like everyday attire. And all of a sudden they're invading. So to me, I'm wondering, is the invasion the people have this disease and he's worried they're going to spread it, and it's just Kevin Nash going around shooting regular people who catch COVID?
I mean,
like there's a great way. I got COVID. Oh, you're going to die. I'm going to make sure of it.
It's like, or it could be a political satire. I mean, we don't know, but the fact that I don't know.
They may as well have called it invasion of the COVID spreaders,
right? Unless the people in the metal suits, they're the ones that are freaking out. Oh, we're gonna die, and
Well, Nash apparently is part of the Navy Team 6.
Yep.
So I guess he's gone from being famous for his torn quads to joining a squad.
Right.
And I'm wondering, because all the COVID people would have to do to take him down is just kick him in the quad.
That's it. That's all. But of course, he is Kevin Nash, and he's not, and he rarely.
If he shows up at any point driving a 4-wheeler, I am not hesitating to make a quad joke.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. I would do it.
I look forward to seeing just how bad this movie is going to be.
I mean, let's put it this way: Kevin Nash rarely ever put anybody over in the ring. I doubt he's going to put anybody over in the movie.
Kevin Nash rarely put himself over in the ring. Kevin Nash, he's one of those guys that's just always out of place all the time, no matter where he's at. He was out of place in The Punisher as well, as playing as a Russian.
Yeah, no, I mean...
But he's all the time out of place. And another place he was out of place was this past Sunday.
Yes.
At the Survivor Series. He was part of the Undertaker farewell, and I question why. Why was he there? What did he have to do with Taker other than the fact he fought him once? He wasn't his friend.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like as far as I know, they weren't friends.
The thing is, there were actual Undertaker friends that weren't at this, that should have been there and weren't.
I agree.
And yet, Kevin Nash, he's there.
Exactly.
I just don't get that at all. I mean, the Godwins, it makes sense.
Yeah.
What also didn't make sense was how these guys just came out, had their entrances, and then they're gone before Taker even gets to the ring.
Well, I understand why. I finally found out the reason for it.
See, I don't understand why, because I get what you're going to say about the COVID, but...
No, has nothing to do with that.
Oh, well, Then enlighten me.
All right, I was watching Booker T on his channel where he was talking about it. And what it is that they wanted to keep the mystique of the Undertaker. Instead of having the normal farewell where everybody says something and whatever, they wanted to keep the mystique of the Undertaker.
Then why have them there at all?
It's just kind of like as a show of support type of thing. But then
I don't know. So, you know
yeah.
what I would have done, and it would have kept the mystique.
Mhm.
I didn't come up with this. One of our good friends, mutual friends, came up with this idea, and
Okay.
she was right on the. She hit the nail on the head on this.
Okay.
They should have had the druids come out to their druid chant,
Yeah.
and then stand around the ring. And after Taker does his deal, the druids all take their hoods off, and it's all the legends.
Yeah. That would have worked perfectly.
It would have kept that mystique. It would have been a nice little tribute, and it would have at least had them do something.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we got.
No,
And
I agree.
the other problem with that too was, especially Mick Foley.
Yeah.
I love Mick, but he's coming out and he's doing his hand gestures to the audience, waiting for a reaction from them as if they're there.
Exactly. The virtual
Like he lifts
audience.
up his arm to the one side, then he's playing to the other side. There's nobody there, Mick.
Exactly.
And the chanting, they played the chants back from WrestleMania 33 of "Thank You, Taker."
Yes.
It's like Cornette said, it's become a sitcom at this point. They even have their own laugh track.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. See, it's okay. The setup of the Thunderdome. It's you see the virtual audience on one side. Why? Because where the hard cam is, there's nothing there. Okay, so you're pandering, and it's funny, and it's crazy because as I said before, when a few weeks back when I was talking about my Thunderdome experience, it's like you're just watching TV with the benefit that you're going to show up on TV. That's it. So it's like, why even pander to the screens at all when they're seeing what's on the camera? Just pander to the camera. It's like it's a shame.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's a bunch of
And then of
I
course
don't know. The whole segment of the farewell, though, it was so bad.
I mean,
I
you
didn't.
saw Vince.
I felt
You
I
saw
like
Vince.
Taker. I told you this when it happened too.
Yeah.
Taker gets in the ring and he says, "30 years I've walked down that aisle," and I'm thinking, yeah, it felt like 30 years just now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, he meant overall.
Yeah.
But no, why do you take forever to make that entrance when there's nobody even in the building?
Exactly. I mean, okay. Again, I understand. Keeping kayfabe, the supposed last walk down the aisle, whatever. But I mean, they could have, for the sake of this segment of Survivor Series, they could, they could have had, live audience members in the building for this Survivor Series just for that segment.
Well,
I think it would have been
Taker
worth more.
mentioned on the Steve Austin podcast recently that he could keep coming back just to do a choke slam here and a choke slam there, but he said he would never do that to his fans. And it made me wonder. I know he forgot WrestleMania 30, which was in New Orleans. Does he have some kind of memory block against New Orleans in general?
I don't know.
Because I know the reason in 30 was because of a shot he took from Lesnar that caused him to forget everything that happened there. But how come he forgot about WrestleMania 34 where he showed up just to chokeslam John Cena and win the match?
I don't know.
If you want to call it a match.
All it was is John Cena. Wasn't he in the audience? He was in the crowd for a minute.
Yeah, and then he ran to the back and grabbed his gear, and then he came out and he got.
Come on, give me somebody to fight. Come on, give me somebody to fight.
He became Sean Stasiak.
Yeah.
If you get my drift.
Yeah, I got it. I'm staying shut.
And yeah, there's memes all over of that incident.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Taker knows how to deal with him, huh? He gets that in his face when he gives a tombstone. He
Mm-hmm.
had Sid with the bathroom issue.
Yep. No, but I mean,
No, but
I
where
don't
was
know.
Bret Hart at this, by the way?
I I have no
Again,
idea.
you have Kevin Nash there. Why? But you don't have Bret Hart,
Exactly.
an actual friend
Exactly.
of Taker,
Exactly.
and he's not there.
And then don't forget the holographic Paul Bearer.
Ugh. People like that, and I was, God, it was just,
Booker T liked
it
it.
really reminded me
Mm?
of this was Bruce Pritchard.
Yep.
He had his signature all over that.
Yep. That's what it
I
reminds
could
me.
see how it went down. He was like, "We have to have him there, Vince," but he's no longer alive.
Exactly.
I never stopped you before. You killed him in cement.
Yep. No, is this is
Can you
this?
imagine if they tried that hologram deal with the live crowd?
It would it wouldn't have gone well. You'd have heard all the boos and everything. It's in a way, I guess it's cool, whatever. But if there was a live crowd, they would have put Paul Bearer on the Titantron or something like that. That's about it. They wouldn't. No way.
The only
There's.
time it ever worked to do anything after Paul's death was when Paul Heyman came out dressed like him during the CM Punk feud
Yeah, yeah. I
to
remember.
play mind games
Yep, I remember.
with Taker.
I remember.
So that works, but at least Sarah didn't show up
Right. Yeah. No,
or
no, no.
DDP.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, even that, even those two would have been better than Kevin Nash. In my
And
opinion.
uh, you gotta wonder because Taker was so upset that DDP was supposedly stalking Sarah, and
Yeah.
then he was obviously at some point he went, "You can have her."
Right. Yep. Oh, yep. No, here, no,
Maybe
no.
that's where DDP yoga started.
Right.
I caught him off guard on
Oh
that
my
one.
god.
He got that joke. I don't think half our audience got that joke.
Oh man. Oh god. If they don't get it,
But
look it up.
anyway,
No, but I mean, if I mean, it, they did. Hold on, there's a question. Sarah is Undertaker's ex-wife. Somebody asked. My friend Mary. She asked who's Sarah. No, but I mean, if they didn't want to make it mushy or anything, because if they were gonna make it a mushy ceremony, farewell, they would have let,
they weren't
probably
going to make it a mushy Sarah Moni.
Moni. Rum pum.
Sarah, by the way, was not just Undertaker's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Get it right. Sarah Undertaker
Yep.
was also, for a little while, a forced WWE superstar,
Yep.
and she holds a pinfall clean victory over Diamond Dallas Page
Look it up on YouTube. It's a fact.
or the WWE Network.
But no, but I mean, if they were gonna make it a mushy farewell, why have Shane McMahon there? Because they announced him as like a legend or something like that. He's not.
He came up as WWE legend underneath his name, and I
Yeah.
went, "Are you kidding me?
I'm like, what the heck?
He ain't no WWE legend." The only legend of Shane McMahon is when he was a referee at the early Royal Rumbles.
Yeah, exactly. That's about it. And then, Kevin
And I'll never
Nash.
forget during one of those Rumbles too,
Yeah.
he makes a bad call, and Jesse Ventura, he's just like, "Look at that idiot referee down there." It's like, I know that Vince had to hate that, but at that point, Vince hated Jesse anyway.
But I mean, why you're gonna have Shane McMahon at the farewell? other than like what the match that they had.
Why wasn't Bruce Pritchard out there? He's Taker's first manager.
Yeah, before Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
Before Paul
So
Bearer,
why
his
wasn't
first
he
show
there?
as Brother Love, he could have came out as Brother Love.
Why wasn't Chuck Norris there?
That would have been interesting for crying out loud. Dang. I mean, it would have.
Fellow Texan.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, it would have been
And a
way better.
Survivor Series alumni as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, it would have been way better than having Shane McMahon and Kevin Nash for crying out loud.
Again, yeah, Shane, I'm not so much angry about. It was Kevin Nash that just like, oh, why was Nash there? I just still don't get it.
I can agree on the Shane thing because Shane and Undertaker had a pretty decent little rivalry. And
Jake Roberts would have made more sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I understand why Jake couldn't be there.
Yeah.
More than one reason. Not just the COPD, but also because he's working for the competition right now.
But still, come on now. Yeah, but but Billy Gunn is working for the competition, and he was able to go to the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So you never really know. I mean, Bret Hart bounced back and forth too.
Yeah.
He was on AEW's first major show to hand off the title belt.
Yeah.
And then he was back with WWE within a few months, and none of it makes any sense.
I mean, I think Michelle McCool should have come out as his wife, and I mean, she has more credibility to be there than Kevin freaking Nash. You know what I mean? Like,
true. But I mean, these days, nothing Undertaker does is making any sense. And as far as tarnishing his legacy, I think he nailed his own coffin shot when they did these 30 cameos.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
Now, granted, they made $30,000. He had to give a big cut of that to Vince.
Yep.
But these videos are the funniest unintentional comedy in the history of the business.
Yep.
Ever.
It is.
My gosh. As soon as he starts, Jim and Brian actually listened to them on the air last week, and their reactions are priceless. But like when Taker says things like, "Hey, Granny," it's like, what? Or, "Hello, I got your letter." Or my favorite was, "Hello, All Elite Scooby-Doo." And then All Elite Wrestling answered back by having a guy come out dressed as Scooby-Doo on their show. So All Elite Scooby-Doo is an actual thing.
Yeah.
And Taker, when he said All Elite, I was waiting for him to say wrestling, and I was going to say, wow, he's going to say it.
I know.
All Elite, yeah, way to promote the competition, Taker.
Oh my god. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it did say All Elite Wrestling and Taker changed it to Scooby Doo. On purpose. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean,
then they went with
we all know he's not a giver; he's a taker.
Yep. I was gonna say the Undertaker.
I always said before that if Undertaker had left WWE and went to TNA, because TNA always alters people's names, they would have called him the Overgiver. Everybody's always like, "Oh, what's the mortician doing here? Or what's the dead man doing here?" I was like, no, he'd be the Overgiver, because that's the opposite of Undertaker, is the Overgiver. And he would come out handing out gifts.
Well, what do you think he'll be wearing?
The funniest thing I heard, though, Jim told a story last week, and I don't have permission, but I'm saying this anyway because he said it on a public thing. Yep. It's the funniest story I've ever freaking heard. And Undertaker, back in the day, Jim had told him there was a terminally ill kid in the audience.
Yep.
And he wanted the dad wanted to see if the kid could get Undertaker's autograph because that was his favorite wrestler. Mm-hmm. So Taker grabbed an 8x10. The kid's not around, obviously, because Taker's doing this backstage because he's still trying to keep up kayfabe. Mm-hmm. And he starts signing the photo, and he started signing it the way that he always would, where he would write "Rest in Peace"
Mm-hmm.
on an autograph. But this is for a terminally ill child.
Yep.
Can you imagine if he had actually signed that "Rest in Peace" to a
He's like,
terminally ill
Taker wants
child?
me to die. Taker wants me to die.
But no, he apparently changed it. He got the R in there and then realized what he did. So he quickly changed the R to a B and changed it to, instead of rest, he made it into best by changing the R to a B. And then he wrote wishes. So,
Yep.
but wow, rest in peace.
Right.
And that to a terminally ill child.
Well, speaking about rest in peace, so look, what about Vince? Got the
Yeah, they
farewell.
went on about that too. How Vince looks like a corpse. They actually said that I don't remember the exact wording, but they made a comment about how Taker surely is going on his farewell, and now he's created a taxidermy version of Vince.
I tell you, Vince, you know, and I made a post about it in the Facebook group that we were in. But Vince looks like
Death.
freaking. You remember where I showed the two pictures of Vince and the Spanish guy?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do.
So for anybody that don't know, I'm gonna explain it. This looks like Walter Mercado. Okay, Walter Mercado was a Puerto Rican astrologer. He passed away some time ago. Vince looks like him, like in the last years. Like, oh my gosh, it's. And you saw the eyebrows. He had somebody in the back, pluck his eyebrows, and I mean, he looked worse for wear, man.
Yeah, he's not looking good these days.
I mean, it's
But
I mean, I mean, normally, you got all the, the hot sheets or the people that leak information. They're saying, oh, Vince had a heart attack or Vince is this, Vince is that, and it's like the last time I saw Vince was like a few months ago. This guy looked in excellent shape. I mean, he was like now
the
it's like
grapefruits have been in the sun too long, and they've shriveled up and dried out.
yeah. I mean, as much as we
You ever
laugh
seen
about
what
it,
happens to a grape when it or even a plum and all these different things when they turn into raisins and everything.
yep.
That's Vince.
Yeah. I mean, we joke about it and we laugh about it and everything, but seriously, it's like you get concerned. You know what I mean?
Well, he doesn't sleep. He stays up. He doesn't like to admit sickness, and
Hmm.
right now the whole world has to admit sickness.
Yep.
So it's definitely getting to him on that.
Hmm.
He brings back the XFL again, and then that went down. All the stress he's under from all of this, and he's admitting defeat. And just like his best friend there, they don't like to admit defeat,
Hmm.
and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
But no,
But
with all of that being said, it's just like you know,
he looks
he,
like he's over 100 years old.
yeah, if he would learn to just stay away and not be as involved at his age. I mean, Triple H, Triple H, whether you like him or hate him, whether you like NXT or hate NXT or whatever. I mean, he's done a pretty good job with NXT, and
Until Vince took it over.
yeah, but even then, the Triple H still had a good amount of control. It's one of those things where like Vince needs to learn how to lay back, and let other people that have just as much as experience and who actually listen to the fans, who actually they're current with what's going on, and it's not trying to bring back white cotton pennies. You know what I mean? Like kind of loud, man. I think he'll be in much better shape, and he'll be, and if he learned to relax.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen though with him.
Yeah, man. But it's just a shame, man. You
But
see him at the Undertaker's farewell, and I mean, you could hear it in his voice too. It's just like he's tired. I don't know.
Yeah, he just looks like he's just spent.
Yeah. I mean, even Taker,
He's
Taker in his own speech, you notice how he was, you could tell he was tired.
yeah, because that's why you have to hang it up eventually and retire. And these guys like Vince that don't understand retirement and they think they can go at that rate all their life and never stop, and it takes its toll on you.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely. I don't know, man.
Look at when he tore both his quads
Just
jumping into
walking.
the ring
Yeah,
in '05.
yeah. Just getting, trying to get in the ring. Like he walks down, does his Vince McMahon strut, and
And he's a tough guy. He walked out of there. He had help, but he still walked out of there that night on those two torn quads.
it's just, I mean, dang, like he. I mean, I just hope that at some point before he kills himself, he learns to relax and let go. I understand he's under a lot of he's under a lot of pressure with everything as it is. He can learn to delegate. That's just my opinion. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know about it either, man. Dark times ahead, that's for sure. Dark times. And another form of dark would be black.
Yep.
And yesterday was Black Friday. How's that for a segue?
Go ahead.
A couple things I want to mention. I was working,
Hmm.
of course. AEW. They are made. Their figures are made by Jack Specific, are they not?
I believe so. Yeah.
Why are the title belts not the ones that WWE used to have from Jax, but they're more like the ones that WWE has currently from Mattel?
Hmm.
And nobody's buying these, by the way, these belts. They're just sitting.
Yeah.
The figures have not been on my store shelf ever.
Hmm.
And it made me think, and I think I figured out what's going on.
Yep. Go ahead.
AEW does not want to make money off the figures. They want to use it as an excuse to lie. Like they lie about so many other things.
Yep.
Because they can say, even if they just had one shipment to each store, they can be like, oh, see, it didn't sell because it's so popular, that we can't keep them on the shelf. They're always sold out.
Hmm.
That's what they want people to think. That it's always sold out because it's so popular.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it's no, you're purposely not giving enough to the store to even carry it just so you can lie and say they're sold out.
No, exactly, and I agree. I agree with that. When it came out or whatever, and I was able to get to the store, I didn't see it. I know people that works at the stores, like the WalMarts here and whatever. I asked them to look out. They didn't even get a shipment over here.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
I
like
don't know if they
you.
got it here or not. They do have the shelf tags for it, so I would imagine they had them.
At some point, probably, but at least
But it just makes no sense to me.
yeah, like where you work at, I'm sure they got like one shipment. But over here at the store over here, the people that I know over here, they said that they didn't even get a shipment. They were told that they were gonna get a shipment. They never even got the shipment because you have a lot of kids there, and then their parents they're asking, hey, did you get the AEW stuff? Did you get the AEW stuff? And they're like,
I
what?
see a lot of people walking around my store though
Mm-hmm.
wearing AEW hoodies,
Mm-hmm.
and it got me like, wow, there's a lot more AEW fans than I thought out there.
I don't know. There are a good amount of fans. I think as
Yeah,
far
but I
as
thought they were all just right where the shows run. I didn't realize there were AEW fans all over.
I'm not,
Which, in a way, kind of it's a big deal because even WWE, when
mm-hmm.
you go out in public, nobody knows who these stars are.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have figures right now from WWE that even I was kind of like scratching my head, like why does this person have their own action figure? Like Mia Yim, how's that pronounced?
Yeah, Mia Yim.
Mia Yim. We have a whole row of her on the rack. And I'm looking. There's always a John Cena. John Cena's not even in the freaking company, as far as I know anymore. And yeah, he's still getting action figures.
Well, he's still under
But
contract. He's still under some kind of contract, as far as I understand.
but yeah, we got tons of Cena. We got Mia Yim.
Mm-hmm.
We got a bunch of AJ Styles,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a few Drew McIntyres, and that's it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
Well,
why are
well, here's the thing. Mia Yim is a legend in the Indies. You know, in the Indies, she's a legend. Um, so when they brought her onto NXT, it was like, it was something big. You know what I mean? But here's the thing: unless you know Mia Yim from the Indies, you're not gonna know who she is. It's like it's the same thing with Mercedes Martinez. We know where Mercedes Martinez is from. Heck, I trained with Mercedes Martinez. You know, we were part of the same school for a bit. You know, and she's successful. And oh my gosh, God bless her. You know, and she's traveled to a lot of places. But unless you've seen Mercedes Martinez, if WWE all of a sudden gives her an action figure, no one's going to be real excited about it unless they know her from what she's done in the past with AEW, with the Indies, and with her travels. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know,
they
man.
made a legend figure. I think only two women have legend figures to my knowledge, and you
Hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong on that. But
Hmm.
I think the only legend figures for women was Miss Elizabeth and Fabulous Moolah.
Yeah.
Did Mae Young get her own figure?
I don't know. Let me look that up real quick.
And did Sherry Martel get a figure?
I don't think Sherry Martel ever got a figure, but she should.
I really think, because recently Jazz was talking about how all the time she was in the company, they never made a figure of her.
Hmm.
And that's just like, it's sacrilege that Jazz never got a figure. It's crazy.
I agree. I agree.
Jazz was one of the best of all time. And I know in the sense of, oh, she wasn't there for a long time and not as well known, that you would say, oh, she's not a legend. But no, Jazz is a legend.
Hmm.
And she
Yeah,
deserved to have an action figure.
May Young does
Huh?
have one. May Young does have one.
Mae Young has one. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I did not know Mae Young had one. I know there was a prototype, a few prototypes actually,
Hmm.
for a Linda McMahon that never actually got released.
No offense, but no offense to Linda McMahon, but thank God.
It would have been like the Dixie Carter figure.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
this wasn't a format, but now freaking Russo's getting a figure.
Vince Russo. Oh my gosh.
Go figure.
Oh my God. No.
And somebody
No.
said, I'm not going to tell my joke because I want to keep this show family friendly.
Uh,
But somebody asked, hey, what happened to his pole?
I remember. See, now you got me coughing, man.
he's he's not celebrating Festivus because he doesn't have the pole. It's a Festivus for the rest of us.
Oh man.
I mean, why is he coming with a baseball bat with barbed wire? Who does he think he is, Negan?
I mean, it's like, come on, when he was in WCW and he was on camera in WCW, like maybe two or three times he had a bat.
You
For
know what he
what?
should come with is a bra.
Right?
Because I'm serious, bra.
For, come on, bro.
He's
No,
talking to his bra all the time, so he
yeah.
should have his bra.
No, yeah. I mean, if anybody watches his podcast, because he does video podcasts and whatever, right? Or any interview that he does, any conversation that he has, he's like, "Hey, bro," it's like, oh,
I worked with him for 2 years, so I know how he is.
yeah, you know
And I can
exactly.
honestly say, I don't want to just pick on Vince Russo because I'm one of the few people who actually likes Vince Russo. I think he
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of great ideas. I think he got blamed for a lot of things that wasn't his fault.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm one of his supporters that actually sticks up for the guy. But
I mean,
he
I don't
doesn't
know.
deserve his own action figure.
No, yeah, yeah. I mean, from the conversations we've had about it, okay, yeah, there are some great ideas he's had, And you're right, he should not be blamed for certain things. But
because a lot of the problems that people bring up,
mm-hmm,
I point out to them immediately. I say that was Ed Ferrara. Ed Ferrara was just as much a part of the bad stuff in WCW as Vince Russo was.
mm-hmm. I mean, he was a
Vince Russo
Ed
is
Ferrara
a
was
guy
the
with a lot
fake.
of great ideas.
Yep.
He doesn't know which ones are good ideas and which ones are bad ideas.
Mm-hmm,
In WCW, he didn't have anybody to stop him and say, no, that's a bad idea, Vince, and they let him do it.
mm-hmm.
And that's when we got Cowboy Vampiro and everything.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing with all of that is with Vince Russo, like you said, no, there was nobody there to stop him, whatever. But you have to remember that he's not okay. Unlike Eric Bischoff, right? Eric Bischoff, who he went to college for journalism and all this, that, and the other. He can, he knows how to write a story. You know what I mean? He knows how to write a story. He knows how to, uh, put things in perspective. He knows, the ins and outs, of, writing a good story for a wrestling angle, whatever. Russo didn't. Before WWE, he owned a video shop, and he did something with a magazine or a newspaper or whatever it was. But he never had any experience. He never had any formal training. So without that knowledge, on how to tell what's a good idea, what's a bad idea, and how to put it together properly, all he's doing is just spouting at the mouth and throwing things at the wall. And again, without somebody like Vince McMahon or or whatever uh to tell him what's good and what's not good, all you're gonna get is the freaking Mama Bagwell on a pole match. You know what I mean? Come on now. It's
But
there's too
yeah,
much to it.
Ed Ferrara, he was the one who did the tasteless JR skits, the
Yeah,
old billionaire Ted,
yeah.
or not billionaire Ted. I'm sorry. Oh man, what was the character? Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah. I
And
mean,
who could
and that
forget
was
Ed
better.
Ferrara on the first episode of TNA,
Oh my
standing
gosh.
up to get a virtual, from Electra.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Ferrara was he was the problem. He always was.
yeah. I mean, it's just there's so much into the the behind the scenes that people don't know. If all they do is listen to Jr. I mean not Jr. Jim Cornette. If all they do is listen to Jim Cornette side of it, you know, then it's gonna be like you're always gonna be angry. You know what I mean? But if they take the time to actually listen to all sides, now here's my thing because Vince Russo for on his podcast, me trying to hear his side of it, he's always trying to make himself look innocent too. When we all know he wasn't innocent in any of his parts. Uh, and I'm pretty sure that if anybody tries to hear F. Ferrara, and he's gonna try to be like, no, I have really good ideas. It's like try to blame somebody else or whatever. It's just at some point, I will love. It's not gonna happen ever, but I would love to see Vince Russo, Jim Cornette, Ed Ferrara, even Dixie Carter and Vince McMahon sit down, kind of like say, look, this is what really happened. And if
Yeah,
somebody,
that will never
that's what
happen.
I'm saying. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Ed Ferrara, though, gave us one of the worst things in history that people don't talk about for good reason.
Yep.
Um, he had a hardcore match with that was a tuxedos slash brawn panties match with Medusa
Yep.
for the WCW hardcore title,
Yep.
which ended with him getting stripped down to his boxer shorts, Medusa being stripped down to a complete bikini with G string,
Yep.
spraying barbecue sauce all over Ed
Yep.
to mock JR's
Yep.
barbecue sauce. But
that was for me. That was just tasteless. It was classless. It was a bunch of crap that should have never happened. And may God have mercy on his soul. That's all I gotta say.
huh? Well, he thought it was hilarious, and it just shows what kind of person Vince is. That he would find something so appalling,
Yep.
not appealing,
Yep.
the opposite, appalling,
Yep.
and he found it entertaining. And
Exactly.
no, it was not.
No, it wasn't. Not at all whatsoever.
And the only thing that made it worse was, Brian talks about all the time, and I agree with him that Michael Cole is the worst announcer of all time.
Oh yeah.
But a very close second
Yep.
has to be Mark Madden.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't understand how people think Mark Madden was good. And I hear people say that. They actually say Mark Madden was the guy who really got into the show.
No.
Yeah, but the stuff he would say had nothing to do with the show.
Made no daggone sense at all whatsoever.
He would quote Jay Muse and do it wrong by saying snoochie boochies. But he would say it as smoochy moochie was how he would say it. And he would use that term for the Stacy Keibler, who at the time was Miss Hancock.
Yep.
Smoochy moochy. And it's like, shut up, Mark. And he's definitely a Mark, but
you gotta give me 1 second.
Apparently,
you gotta give me 1 second. I hear somebody at the door. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Oh no, they're coming for us.
Right. I'll be right back real quick. Give me 1 second.
All right. Well, we're not going to go dead air. I guess I'm taking over on this one. But yeah, Mark Madden, this is a guy who just everything that he did in commentary was just so bad because he would make gibberish. Nothing would make any sense. He was like he was trying to be Jerry Lawler, but on super high elevated version of being annoying, as opposed to being comedic as the King at that point was. And yeah, it didn't work. But I started to talk about Black Friday and then got off onto a tangent here. We kind of got off topic. But Black Friday all the time is always when the stores are supposed to make all this money. And like I said, I was working and we opened up early. We opened at 5 a.m. on Black Friday, and there was a rush of people, a mad rush, for about an hour and a half. And then that completely died. And by the time I left at 7 o'clock, there was nobody at the store. It was completely empty, basically. There was like maybe 10 people in the whole store. It didn't feel like Black Friday. We didn't get that normal rush we get. Now, when I went back, I noticed a lot of stuff sold. So there was a lot of people that went throughout the day. But even today, when I was leaving, there was nobody there again. So
I'm back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm talking about Black Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And how the stores, they're not doing the business they normally do.
Yeah.
COVID has killed the trampling and all these problems, which is a good thing on that. I'm happy to see that's ended, but at the same time, it's scary because if the stores can't even make money on Black Friday, they're never going to make their money.
I mean, if they don't make their money, there's gonna be a lot of layoffs. I mean, it's bad enough.
Yeah, I could get laid off even if they don't make the money.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough. It's bad enough that there's so much joblessness going around because of COVID and all of that, and it's like businesses start to pick up again, and what? Another shutdown, another this, another restriction on how many people can be in the store or whatever, or
well, they're already doing that. Like, we have the restriction of no more than 20 people in the store at a time.
What?
And the funny thing about that is we had over 50 employees working on Black Friday night. So on Thursday night, rather, Thanksgiving night into Black Friday. So we already exceeded the limit of more people than what were allowed to be in the building. And then they were letting 20 customers in. So there was like 70 people at least in the building, and that wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh my gosh, man.
It was just
It's
it's
ridiculous.
crazy though, because like you look at the past
Hmm.
Black Friday. To my knowledge, the first real crazy Black Friday stories was with Tickle Me Elmo.
Hmm.
I mean, there was stories of items that were sold out that you could never find, but that's when like the horror stories started was with Tickle Me Elmo. And there's a documentary that is on YouTube. No, they didn't pay for a plug, but I'm going to give them one anyway because these guys, they're two brothers. They're trying to make an establishment, and they're too good to be giving away their content like they do.
Hmm.
These guys are so good at what they do.
Yep.
They've done a couple of different documentaries. They did one on Max Headroom incident, which was really good.
Yep.
But they made one about the Tickle Me Elmo craze,
Hmm.
and they're called The Bazaar, and you can find them on YouTube.
Hmm.
And yeah, the whole documentary, it revealed something to me I never realized, that Rosie O'Donnell is inadvertently the cause of people dying on Black Friday because
Wow. Hold on.
she would have see the dogs agree.
Yep.
They agree, man. They're yelling about it because they know that it's true. Rosie O'Donnell caused the Black Friday craze because she would take at the time she had invested in Tickle Me Elmo, and she would grab a doll and throw it to her audience
Yep.
before it was even released in the stores, and tell her audience to fight over it. It was her mentality.
I
There's only
remember.
one. Who's gonna get it?
I
Get it! And
remember.
she would be screaming this.
I used to be a big
So
Rosie O'Donnell
she
fan.
created that violent mentality to get a doll.
Yeah. The crazy thing is when the Tickle Me Elmo first came, and what year was it?
1996.
1996, right? And I was like, oh, okay, why would anybody want to get a Tickle Me Elmo? And then after I graduated high school and I started wrestling here and there, um, I was working at Toys R Us. And here comes a Tickle Me Elmo, and my niece was still a little baby, and she wanted she saw the commercial and she'll be like, hey Jaja, give me a Tickle Me Elmo, and I'm like, okay, so luckily because I was working at Toys R Us, I was able to put one on hold for myself, only one, so I could get it for her. And when that Black Friday came, oh my gosh, we were
Well,
already
like I
sold
said, I
out.
do recommend everybody watch the documentary. They actually interviewed some of the workers
Yep.
who worked at different places, including a guy who worked at a Walmart that
Yep.
got completely trampled and he's paralyzed in a wheelchair to this day
Wow.
because he was bringing out a crate, a pallet rather,
Yep.
that had the Tickle Me Elmo dolls, and somebody screamed out, "There's the dolls!" And they were just stepping on this guy like he was a piece of cardboard
Yep.
as they were tearing through the shrink wrap to get the dolls off the pallet, and they didn't even care that they're killing a man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've seen so
And
many
yeah,
videos
then the
and.
next year, even the doll was still the number one seller for the 1997 Christmas season.
Mhm.
And in '96, when that happened, that's the year that Jingle All the Way came out.
Yep.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, Jingle All the Way predicted what was going to happen," and it's like, no, Jingle All the Way was based on the fact because there was the craze the year earlier was Power Rangers, and
Yep.
I know that because I wanted them, and
So
my
did I.
parents were able to get them. But the thing was, Jingle All the Way was the Power Rangers,
Yep.
and the toys that everybody had in the stores was like Rita Repulsa and all the Goga. The one that everybody had was Goldar.
Yep.
Nobody didn't have Goldar in stock, and the one that everybody wanted was Tommy, and
Yep.
they couldn't get it. So, in that sense, Turbo Man is actually Tommy,
Yep.
and that's why Booster is wearing gold even. He's pink and gold because he's supposed to be the version of Goldar that everybody has and nobody wants.
Okay.
So,
Hold on.
and yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
to think about that. That was the cause of it, but
Yeah.
over the time, even things aren't doing that anymore. Like people, they run out for Black Friday now. Usually, it wasn't for a toy anymore.
Mhm.
Now, when you see the fighting and all that's going on the past few years, it's people fighting over television sets. It's the adults.
Oh yeah,
So it really makes you wonder what the heck. They used to fight over a toy for their child. At least it was for a cause.
exactly.
Now it's about not getting their kids Christmas presents, but getting their own television at a cheap price. And why is everybody buying televisions on Black Friday every year? Do they
I
not have a TV? Why do they need a TV every single year?
well not
But
well
even
since
this year, I seen it.
well,
Everybody's buying up TVs.
well since the inception of the flat screens. There we go. Since the inception of the flat screens, it seems like all the flat screens, they tend to break. Sorry, I'm just making my connection, making sure the connection is going, because even if there's a delay, want to make sure everybody's listening. No, but it's like it seems like everybody buys a flat screen TV, and it looks like it breaks every year because they're buying a new one.
Yeah, every single year they're rushing out to buy these TVs, and I'm thinking, why do they need a TV every year?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know when the last TV was that I bought?
What?
2006.
Man, mine was about 2009, no, 2010, around when I bought a flat screen. Well,
I don't even have a flat screen. I still got a tube TV.
I
I
got,
remember
I
buying
no,
the tube TV and a DVD player in the same
here,
day.
here's the thing, right? Is that I have the flat screen. I use it as a secondary monitor for my editing setup, and then I had this really big tube TV that was given to me, and that's what I use to watch TV. And it's crazy because for how long I'm seeing a lot of my neighbors, they're getting rid of these really big tube TVs that are still good, they still work, and all because they're buying a flat screen. It was like wait until the darn thing breaks and then buy a new TV. Something, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Sorry about the dogs. They agree with us.
That's okay. They wanted to join us on the show this week,
Yeah. Well, they hear my niece
and every
upstairs,
week for that matter. The
right?
birds, the dogs,
Yeah, the whole animal
they all
kingdom.
come. The wild, we got Wild Kingdom over there.
Literally.
CT Bishop's Wild Kingdom Zoo.
I'm gonna have to do a behind the scenes video and put it on the channel so people see what I have to deal with.
Well, yeah, but I have the like I said.
Yeah.
But anyway,
On to
but
the
yeah, Black Friday was always when the stores would go out of being in the red and they would go into the black on their numbers, and that's why it was called Black Friday. So,
my
and it was
uncle.
always crazy and hectic. Like I worked at Blockbuster during the
Yep.
the the Black Friday once, and it was crazy there. But sometimes I really think that people just buy things up just for the sake of buying something.
Right.
Like
There.
people will be like, "Oh, I need this. I need this. What is this?" They don't even know what they just grabbed.
Yeah. It's funny because my uncle, he was the manager at the Toys R Us that I worked at. He It's funny because he called it Green Friday, because that's where he says he to him is
Okay, so he's not the only one. Yeah, my mom, her boss once used to always refer to it as Green Friday because it's the day they make all the green.
yeah, exactly. That's why he called it that. I was gonna say that. But it's just I don't know, man. It's just it, you know you take a day. Okay, you take the day before, everybody's together in unity, being thankful for everything that they have, and then the day after, everybody's running each other over and trampling on employees to buy stuff, to buy stuff that they don't need, because the day before they said they were thankful for everything they had, and it's like it, it, you see oh my gosh, man, it's crazy. It's really crazy. It's really crazy to think about it. It's like, the day before oh, thank you. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that. The next day, they're being the most rudest, the most loudest, the most violent people, and Buying what? I don't know, man. I got no words. I got no words for that. You okay? You look tired, man. You've been working all these hours, man. You okay? All right, so I guess he's gone silent. Uh, I think I might have lost him. I don't know. I don't know. I think I lost him. I think I lost him. What do I gotta do?
And now they're calling again.
Yeah,
You
you okay? I thought I lost you, bro. What's up?
lost me?
Yeah, I was
No,
saying something.
no, you didn't lose me.
I was saying something, then you went kind of quiet.
Oh no, it's just been a long day. We
Yeah,
talked about that
yeah,
earlier.
you're tired,
Long week.
man. You're tired.
I am, man. It's rough. Rough times ahead.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Black Friday.
Yeah, it wore you out.
Huh?
It wore you out. It wore you out.
Yeah, they did. They destroyed me.
I hear you.
Just trying to juggle everything too. It's just and people their feelings get hurt. They don't understand that I can't do everything. I can't be everywhere and every. It's just insane though with the way I have to listen to people tell me what I should and shouldn't be making time for, and it's like I need time for me once in a while too. But
Exactly. I've told you that. I've told you that, bro. I mean, it's you got to be able to take time for yourself. You got to be able to to so that way you can relax your mind, you can relax your body, and if you and if you and it what sucks is that because I've been through it many times. What sucks is that people say, "Oh, you're just being selfish." Well, if that's being selfish, oh freaking well, man. You know, if you don't take care of yourself, what good are you going to be to everybody else around you? It's like, and it's like, how can I put this? You're the person that everybody goes to when they need to talk, right?
mhm,
Okay, and I'm not gonna get too personal. I'm not gonna give details or anything, but I'm just,
right.
right? But hi, Kathy. You're the person that everybody goes to when they need to talk. You know what I mean? But you gotta take time for yourself too. And it's crazy how you know your friends and myself and is a, we understand it, but then other people don't. It's kind of sad. That's all I gotta say.
Not even all my friends understand it either, though.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's just like I said, I don't want to get too personal. I don't want to get too much
Yeah, I'm not
details.
getting too far into things either. There's a lot of we already talked about it anyway,
Yeah,
but just saying that yeah, things get crazy. They get crazy like Black Friday, and that's
yeah,
why I'm glad that Black Friday didn't have the trampling garbage happening because I would have been involved in that this year.
yeah. I know. I was worried. I was worried, bro. I was worried
You were
because
worried. I had a strategy. I told one of my friends this is my strategy is if people come running my way, I'm running the other way.
right, right. No,
If I get
because
in trouble, hey, I'm looking out for
no,
my safety.
I was worried. You remember what I told you? You remember what I told you? Early before you went to work, I was like, whatever you do, you stay out of the way.
You know what they need for something like that? They need Al Bundy there in his football gear
Yep,
and just have him standing right there in the 3 point stance
yep.
and have him just go, "Let's rock." And as the black, and this could have been a great episode of Married to Children. And you see Al tackling the shoppers and everything on Black Friday
A bunch of
that
heavy
come
set
to a
women.
shoe store.
A bunch of heavy set women.
Yeah, all the heavy set women breaking into the shoe store to try and get the sales on the shoes, and Al and Griff trying to deal with it. That would have been classic.
It would be like, hey, it's like before they go, before they walk into the shoe store, they'll say, hey, are you able to help me? He'll say something like, are you able to fit through the door? Oh my gosh, he was. Oh, you gotta love the Al Bundy insults. I thought they were hilarious. And I was
Yeah, I love Murder Children. It's one of the
you gotta
best
remember,
shows.
when I was heavy set, and I found them funny, man. Come on.
I was just watching the Thanksgiving episode again the other day on Thanksgiving,
Oh yeah.
um, which was from the final season, and it's one of the funniest episodes ever. Where Al is like obsessed with this sweet potato pie, but the lady who made it she passes away,
Mm-hmm.
and Al and Griff go to the funeral to try and get the pie, and then they find out there was one last pie made, and
Mm-hmm.
Al tries to steal it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the lines of that episode that's just classic is Griff is trying to hit on this lady, and she goes, "Do you mind? I'm overwhelmed with grief."
Yep.
And he goes, "Well, how'd you like to be overwhelmed with grief?" And that's so classic. And then there's a whole side story with Kelly and a live turkey
Yep.
that I'm not gonna get into,
Oh, I know.
but hilarious stuff. I love it.
Oh yeah, no, it's just it's you got to Married with and I hope that they don't do like a reboot of Married with Children because you remember we were
Well, they were
talking.
supposed to do a spin-off show. I don't know what happened to it, but with David Faustino and
Yep,
his Bud character.
yep,
And Ed O'Neill once said, and I agreed with it. I said it would have been funny if they did do a reunion where like the Bundys win the lottery,
yep.
and then at when the claim where they're going to get their money, then a big tornado comes and kills the whole family, and that would have been their true destiny of where they should end up because they were horrible people. Their characters,
Yep.
not the real life actors, but the
No, the
characters.
characters, Peggy with.
And I don't. I'm one of those people who hated the ending of the series, so we didn't get the proper ending. Everybody complains about Seinfeld. Seinfeld's ending was a lot better than the
Married
one
with
on Married with
Children.
Children. And then
Yeah.
Seinfeld, of course, they would get another chance with Curb Your Enthusiasm. They actually did a reunion,
Yep.
so
No, it's just.
I would like to see some kind of reunion for Married with
Oh
Children.
yeah, so would I. So would I. I mean,
And now I'm told that Fresh Prince just had a reunion.
yeah, they did. They did. They did, and there were some tears, between the original Aunt Viv and Will Smith, and it's like they finally, they let go of any animosity that they had between them. So that was
And now
good.
they ended up doing two. The new Saved by the Bell is out apparently because I heard that the first episode wasn't that great.
And I guess they agree. I guess the dogs agree.
Yeah, we're not saved by the bell. We're saved by the bark. That's the puppy version coming soon.
It's all right because we're saved by the bar.
The
No, but
Bayside Tigers are now. You know what?
yep,
We're the Valley Bulldogs.
right. That's true. That's true. Okay, like for sure. Oh my god.
Like for sure. It's
Ready? Okay.
another great show.
Oh yeah.
One of our listeners says all the time that show is corny and stupid, but no, it is. But at the same time, it's really good, and especially the Hot Sunday episode.
Yep.
That episode tackled such an amazing. They did such an amazing job with that because Fresh Prince did a drug episode too, but they made it more comedic.
Yeah.
Saved by the Bell just went full dark drama on us, and it
Oh,
was
exactly.
really well done.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I mean, Elizabeth Berkley, and she did an excellent job with that.
Oh, that scene when she just goes into the rant of singing and then crying, it's just like, whoa.
Exactly.
It brings the whole show to a new element that it hadn't been in before.
Exactly. I mean, and then if when you go further on into the college years, I mean, it was just there's other.
College years is the problem with the college years was one, it's only 13 episodes. It was just it's what nobody wanted to see because all they did was tease Zach and Kelly getting married, and they bring in the character of Jeremy, who's the teacher, and he's become the third wheel in the whole thing with Kelly and Zach, and nobody wanted to see that.
Well,
Nobody wanted to watch these two having an issue because it was basically Jeff take two, and they didn't learn their lesson because
yeah.
the Jeff episodes got the lowest ratings, and that's why they quickly abandoned that storyline during Saving of L,
I mean,
and
with
then
the
even made
Jeff.
sure to make Jeff out to be a jerk just to make the audience happy, and then they did the same freaking thing with this guy.
And here's I mean, okay, I can understand if they were doing it to bring up an issue, the actual issues that happen, like with the Jeff, with the Jeff episodes of, here's a young girl, young teenager in high school, and she has this crush on this, obviously older guy who has no business wanting to be with her, and they date, and there's they should have brought more to that issue of, that's a legal problem, or that's statutory stuff. They should have really brought more darkness out of that, in my opinion.
Well, they did the same thing too in the Saving about the Hawaiian style movie
Yeah,
when she fell for the older Brian. She's
yeah,
always going after the older guy.
yeah. And then in the college years with Jeremiah, you know,
And
um,
yeah, he's also older. It's always the older guy
but
with
but
Kelly.
eh, but
It's
uh,
like
but she
they're
he,
redoing
he
storylines, and
was
then they
yeah, he was her professor in this one, and she
and then the
quits.
Italian Slater got made out to be a Mexican.
Yeah.
And again, I don't have anything against Mexicans at all, but this this made no sense.
Well, I can understand it. I can understand it to a point if you think about it, because if you think about with Martin Sheen, and all the way to Emilio Estevez, where
Right, the whole
he
changing of the name
he could to
to
not be
get
Hispanic.
places, but
Yeah, because not to have
but
Hispanic, but
his father clearly wasn't Mexican in Saved by the Bell when we seen his father.
I don't know. I saw some Latino in him. Going
I
back
don't
to
know. I
it,
don't see that.
but a Latino recognizes a Latino, so that's the way I see it. But if you no, but regardless of whoever the actor was, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. It's more of the fact that the story that his father changed his name so to be accepted, to be able to join the military or whatever, everything was. It's like, again, that's a deep issue of people shouldn't have to do that. It doesn't matter where you come from. You know what I mean? It's like and it's like if how can I put it? If someone who's Caucasian, they go to another country and they're forced to change their last name and whatever in
Right, because
order to
then
get a
they're the
job.
foreigner.
It's like, I think it really brought up the question of accepting people for who they are, regardless of their ethnicity, their race, or whatever. I thought it brought up a good point in that, in my opinion. So that's where I kind of liked that episode, because it really brought up the, hey, to accept people for who they are, no matter what their race is, no matter what their ethnicity is, no matter what, it's like, I thought it did a really great job in that, in my opinion. But that's just me, because I've dealt with racism in my life, and so it's like, that's why for me it was a really good episode.
I don't know. I just felt like, and again, the college is only 13 episodes, even, which is crazy.
Hmm.
They acted like they didn't know what to do with Slater. Like they kept trying to come up with something to do with him for a story arc, and they couldn't figure anything out.
No, I
First,
no, I
like
agree.
in the opening, they in the first episode they had him where he wasn't good at wrestling in college, like he was in high school,
Hmm.
and then they abandoned that completely when it didn't take well with the test audience.
Hmm.
Really, the whole show kept having that issue because it's 13 episodes, and that includes the pilot, and the pilot was completely different because they even changed the kid. They got a new girl,
Yep.
and then people complained that there was no girls from the original show back, and so then they had to give a whole bunch of money to Tiffany Amber Thiessen to come in, and they just kick out this other girl, and they don't ever even mention other than a quick, oh, she transferred.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was just like, and Peter Ingle has actually said that over time, that the one thing he regrets is that he didn't have all six kids come to the college. That would have worked better.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? If you remember, within the graduations of of Saved by the Bell, what was it? What was it? Zach was supposed to go to Yale, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Slater was supposed to go to some other college somewhere else, on a wrestling
Well, we never
scholarship.
actually heard where Slater was going. Again, it's always been an issue with Slater, but because he was accepted into Stansbury, but he said he wasn't going to go, so they never actually said where he was going to go.
And then, I mean, I could have expected Kelly back because because you know, she didn't know where she was going. It's not like she got a scholarship or something. You know what I mean? It's like
Well, Screech was going to Cal something.
Caltech, I
I
don't know.
forgot where he was supposed to go, Caltech or something.
Caltech, yeah.
And then he didn't go there either because they
Exactly.
ended up going to Cal U.
Exactly. So it's like the fact that with what didn't make sense to me was the fact that they made it where you know okay, Zach got accepted to Yale, but he decided to go to Cal U. I,
And the fact that Screech is the valedictorian, but he didn't get a scholarship anywhere.
yeah, that's what made no sense.
So yeah, the college years was destined to fail, sadly, because there are certain elements I
But it wasn't
like
as bad as the new class.
I'll tell you, man. What's his name? Bob Grolick,
Yep.
Frolic. What's his name?
Yeah, Bob Koralik, yeah, I think.
Oh man, he is
Mike. Oh
hilarious,
yeah,
and he's an NFL football player turned actor, and he's great in this whole show.
I agree.
He's
I
my
agree.
favorite part of the whole show.
Oh, I agree. And you remember, and then you remember when there was that professor, the female professor that got the job there, and then he had a crush on her.
Well, she didn't get a job there. She had already been there for many years.
Well, whatever it
Judith
was, but
Trudell.
yeah, 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 exactly. But he had a
I
crush.
know the show so
Yeah,
well.
but he had
She
a
was
crush on
obsessed with Emily.
her.
She taught Emily Dickinson, so Mike tries to learn Emily Dickinson, and she finally is like, "Can you just drop the Emily Dickinson thing?"
Yeah, it's like she got frustrated. Just be you. Stop trying to impress me. Be you. And then it was
He's
just
like, "Maybe we could go out sometime and you'll make dinner."
yeah.
And then they
I'll
kick him.
make
He's like,
dinner.
"Oh, I'll make dinner."
And then, no,
Oh,
then
that's good
finally when
stuff.
they're together, and she says that Mike is her first hunk, and then he blushes. It's like, oh my god. It's like really. It's like, oh my god. You could tell. It's like he played whatever he was doing on the show. Anything and everything. He was just perfect. I agree. He was great.
Yeah, and he did the whole show at the end there became they knew it was ending and they just kind of used the last few episodes as a tie-in to get to the wedding in Las Vegas, which ended up being the final thing up until now, the reunion,
Hmm.
unless you count the Jimmy Fallon deal, but that wasn't really canon.
No, that's not. That's just parody. That's all it is.
Right. Well, parody, yeah, but I see more of a parody as like when they did the Saw thing on Robot Chicken.
Hmm.
That was more of a parody. This was like almost like a flat out reunion that Jimmy Fallon did.
Yeah. No, but then
And it's really funny if you think about it. Jimmy Fallon did two reunions that year.
uh,
One with Fresh Prince and one with Saved by the Bell. And then here in 2020, we got a reunion for Fresh Prince and a reunion now for Saved by the Bell.
yeah, yeah.
Did Jimmy Fallon cause that?
Wow. I wonder.
I know that's deep, ain't it?
Would it be?
Because Jimmy Fallon also created Lip Sync Battle, and that became popular for a while.
Yeah. You know what? I still watch it, believe it or not. But you know what? I'm gonna go with it. Jimmy Fallon is the reason why we got the reunions. That's it. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, it's so much of a. I think it was like somebody said, "Oh my God, look how popular those got when Jimmy Fallon did that. Let's actually do this,"
Mhm.
and they made it work.
Yeah.
There's hope. Jimmy needs to do more of these.
Jimmy is the Lord and Savior of TV.
Jimmy, get out there and make an Alf reunion.
Right.
We want Alf back.
Bring back Alf, Jimmy.
No problem.
Oh my gosh,
Get them.
man.
I mean, you can't have Willie back, which is horrible,
Yeah. But at least,
but do something.
yeah,
Get us back the original MacGyver.
exactly. That's all we ask. The original MacGyver, bring it back. That's all. Bring back Richard Dean Anderson and, with
Well, It's Always Sunny tried to do the Quantum Leap, and it was brilliant.
Yep, yep. But,
Oh boy.
oh man. No, but I mean, altogether, I mean, and going back into the Saved by the Bell thing really quickly, if towards the end when they brought back Lisa, you know, when they brought back Lisa, it's
Well,
like
Lisa only came back for the one episode, the final episode of the college years,
before the movie.
and then she was in the Wedding in Las Vegas
Yeah.
movie.
But it's crazy because a lot of people that I've talked to about this, they're like, well, why they couldn't bring back Jesse? Why they couldn't bring back Jesse? Well, I'm gonna tell
Well,
you,
she did show up in the Wedding in Las Vegas
but
really
at the very
briefly,
end, that's it.
but it was because she was busy filming Showgirls.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's like there was already so much stigma and stuff going around with Showgirls that
Which hadn't even come out yet. She was filming it, but
exactly. But it's one of those things. It's like from what
it's
I
like you
heard,
got a character that's a feminist, and
yeah,
then she's gonna
yeah,
do that.
yeah. But in my opinion, from because I've heard some things here and there is that they didn't want to bring her back for a regular episode, not just because she was filming, but because what if word got out that she was filming that and what it was supposed to be, and then it would bring like a bad name to the Saved by the Bell legacy or something. I believe that's what
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I mean, I don't know if you've seen Showgirls, when I saw Showgirls, I was like, holy heck, like, really? It's like,
It's a terrible movie, by the way.
oh, I agree, wholeheartedly.
There's a few things, of course, that's good about it, but it's still a terrible movie.
That's all
I don't
gotta say.
recommend it to people.
No. As much as I make fun of Charlotte Flair for not having a derriere, Elizabeth Berkley doesn't have one either. That's all I gotta say.
Anyway, wow, how did we get here?
I have no clue. We just started
Now I
ranting
feel
about
like
everything.
different, Brian. How do you get here? Darn you, Vince Russo, because that's what started this mess.
Yep.
We went from Vince Russo to derrieres and showgirls. Vince Russo now dancing around as a showgirl.
Right.
Just like he always dreamed of.
Right.
Bruh.
Oh man! No, imagine if they put a Vince Russo character in a wrestling game. They could have
I'm surprised Russo didn't put himself in WCW Backstage Assault.
Yeah, for real. But imagine they have the fake audience going, bruh, bruh, kind of like what they do with Riddle and stuff like that.
Oh man, Matt Riddle, or now he is just Riddle. But
Riddle me this.
Wow. The whole bro, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And before that, we had the Broskis.
Yep.
Which was Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. It's crazy all the stuff.
I want to see the Helper Monkey come and pray for Mojo. Or Austin Powers. He stole my mojo. He stole my Rawley.
Oh, don't give Vince McMahon any ideas. That'll be the next movie.
Vince doesn't have ideas. He never did. I've always said people are like Vince creates characters. I said name one. He
He's
hasn't
cute.
created one single character other than Undertaker.
Yep.
I will give him Undertaker.
Hmm.
But who else did he create? And anybody you say, you're wrong. And I'll tell you that right off the bat. But I'll have a reason for you when you name a name.
All right. Bastion Booger.
A character who actually worked that got
Okay.
over. Not Mantar either, because that
Okay.
didn't work. Because think about it, even Austin, what did Vince create? The Ringmaster.
Hmm.
What did his creative try to do when Austin tried to change it? We almost got Chili McFreeze or Ice Dagger. Just like, originally Kane was supposed to be Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that because it's not talked about, but Taker didn't. It's not that he hated Duke Drosy, but he was pushing for Glenn Jacobs to get the part
Oh
instead.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, when he saw Glenn at Smoky Mountain, and
Yeah,
they
he
worked
worked with him
together.
in USWA actually first before Smoky
Oh
Mountain,
yeah, that's true.
and
With
then he
the
worked with him in
USWA,
Smoky Mountain as well. And
but he
he
always
knew
liked
he was
Glenn
a good
Jacobs.
talent.
Yeah. I mean,
And
Glenn
Glenn
Jacobs,
was up there as Isaac Yankem, and then he was Fake
fake
Diesel. And
Diesel.
I'm sorry, but Glenn was a better Diesel than Kevin Nash.
I agree.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
I agree. I wholeheartedly
He had a
agree.
better look.
Yeah.
He was having better matches. He was actually really good.
Yeah.
The only problem was he wasn't Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, like, about what we were talking about last week with Survivor Series
Hmm.
about the doinks.
Yep.
Look at how that worked.
Yep.
If that could transition, why couldn't this transition? I mean, they transitioned in the same night. You had Matt Bourne and Ray Apollo both portrayed Doink at the Survivor Series 1993.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing with the Diesel thing. Besides the fact that it wasn't Kevin Nash, it was how can I put it? The hair. If you think about it,
Yeah, he
right?
didn't have the long hair like
Yeah.
Nash did.
Yeah, it was like all curly, and because Glenn Jacob, his
Yeah, and it
natural
was
hair
down
is,
to his shoulders.
yeah, Glenn Jacobs, his natural hair is curly, and I guess he dyed it, or because it was not a wig. Um, but if he would have straightened his hair, he would, straightened his hair and put some gel and do the whole Kevin Nash thing. I think it could have worked better. But but I
He was
agree.
better at being Diesel than Rick Bogner was at being Razor.
No, I agree. Rick Bogner, I really here's the thing. I don't know Rick Bogner from anything else other than being fake Razor.
He was a job guy for ECW.
Okay.
That's the only thing I know him from.
But it's like, but I knew about Glenn Jacobs from USWA. I knew about Glenn Jacobs from Smoky Mountain from when I was able to
Christmas
catch it.
Creature.
Yeah, I mean, I was, but he had a look. He could work. I was like when he came in as Isaac Yankum, I was like he looked, and I remember seeing tapes, here and there, um, I was like, what the heck,
And yeah, that was another Vince character, by the way, Isaac Yankum, because the whole concept was I yank 'em.
Yep.
You got bad teeth? I yank 'em.
At the same time, the character had bad teeth.
That's a Vince McMahon. Everybody talking about Vince Russo. Come on, Vince McMahon. Katie Vick.
Oh my gosh.
Anything Russo did was nothing compared to Katie Vick.
Yeah.
I'll take David Arquette winning the freaking world title every day of the week over Katie Vick.
I agree. I agree.
I want to see David Arquette go out to the ring and put Ric Flair in the figure 4 leg lock and make him tap out, then watch the freaking Katie Vick.
I want to see David Arquette face Hogan in the ring, give him the big boot and the leg drop, then see the Katie Vick thing ever again.
Well, that wouldn't be that far off because you got two guys who couldn't work.
Yep. Oh man. At this point, the Katie, with all the stuff that WWE has taken off the network, you know what I mean? Because for reasons, they need to take the Katie Vick thing out. They need to
Is that
be.
even on the network? Does anybody actually search for that?
If you would have to go in through the raw stuff and like go by dates. But I remember seeing it at one time when I was exploring, when I was just searching.
God. It was right after HLA, by the way.
Yep. Oh
And
man.
it was right around the same time, too, as Rosie and Jamal's debut.
Yep.
I marked out for the Island Boys because I'd known the Island Boys years prior to that.
Yep.
So I was so excited to see them make their debut. And then, of course, like always, dreams were shattered.
Yeah.
Goldust, darn Goldust. He created the shattered dreams and he shattered all of our dreams forever.
No. No, but I mean, it's I mean, come on now. I don't know. It's
Like, again, on the Reliving the War, they just showed Goldust versus Savio, and it's when Goldust was just doing the gimmick. And he kisses Savio, and Savio takes a bump as if he took a bad, like, chair shot. From a kiss, he leaps backwards and, like, totally oversells it to get
yep.
knocked out. I guess
Yep.
it's the kiss of death.
Right. Hey, it's better than the Poke of Doom.
I like the finger poke of doom.
That was funny. I think
Looking at
that
you
that was
again,
the only
Nash.
time that was the only time that Kevin Nash ever did a really good job in the ring was the finger poke of doom.
I wouldn't say that. He did a good one for Taker, WrestleMania 12.
Well, outside of that,
Okay, Shawn Michaels
eh.
at the In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies.
I think the only reason why he did that was because him and Sean they've been buddies for years.
Oh, so you got excuses now, and I give you actual examples of Nash
I'm saying
giving
outside.
good
Look,
jobs.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this right. Anytime you know, how can I put it? Anytime that Kevin Nash has ever put anybody over and made him look good, it was for one reason or another. It wasn't because he was trying to be a professional. It wasn't because he wanted the show to be great or anything. It's because he was buddies with them or something or whatever. You know what I mean? It's that simple. It's the same thing with Hogan. Hogan, you know, he with his ego so high and so far up as you know what, he wasn't gonna
And
put
now
anybody
Hogan's
over.
going to be played by Chris Hemsworth in the upcoming biopic. I'm really interested in seeing how that what plays out.
I agree, man. I agree. And the picture you showed me the other day, man. That, dude, his
Yeah, and there's another
pythons.
one too that has Chris lifting those big, heavy, freaking monster truck tires.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's looking jacked, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then people were like, "Is he taking the Hulk Hogan vitamins?"
He looks better than Hogan you did back in the day.
Absolutely, and Hogan even said, "Is he good looking enough to play me?"
I think. I think. With how can I put it? With my body broken as it is, I think I could play a better Hogan than he ever did.
I wonder who they're gonna cast for some of the other roles in the movie.
Wouldn't it be kind of cool if they brought in Tiny Zeus Lister to play himself?
Well, they should do that. I don't know why they wouldn't.
It would be
That
awesome.
absolutely should happen.
I mean, it would be totally awesome if they
Just
did.
like I'd like to see Big Show play Andre.
Yeah, would be great. Would be awesome. It would be totally cool. It'll be
Have Chris Hemsworth.
body
I want to
slamming.
see if Chris Hemsworth can pull it off without stunt.
Yep.
Can he lift Big Show to give him the body slam at WrestleMania 3?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Here's the thing is that I have a lot of high hopes for that. You know, because I remember in a shoot interview that Big Show did when they were asking him who's stronger between whoever, and he said John Cena is stronger than Brock Lesnar because when Brock Lesnar tried doing something, he could barely do it on his own. John Cena was able to lift up the Big Show on his own. So
Not only Big Show, he lifted Big Show with Edge on top of Big Show.
Mm-hmm. You lost me.
WrestleMania 25.
Yep.
He lifts up Big Show for the attitude adjustment, but at the same time, Edge is on Big Show's back, and so he
Oh,
lifts
okay,
both of
yeah,
them up together.
yeah. No,
He
no.
puts both and gives them both the attitude adjustment
Yeah,
together.
yeah. I mean, that was impressive. That was definitely impressive. So, I mean,
Cena's also lifted Mark Henry on
yeah,
that on his back.
yeah. I mean, it would be cool. I mean, if Chris Hemsworth, if he's really, working out and really getting strong, and you know, and he could pull it off, I'm like, I'd be impressed with that. I would be totally impressed with
I'd love to see who they're gonna cast as Sylvester Stallone to do the Rocky 3 shoot too.
Yeah, I doubt they have the money to bring in Sylvester Stallone to play himself.
Well, he's too old anyway to play himself from back then.
Yeah, but I wonder who.
But yeah, I'm sure
Hey,
if
Hulk.
they are gonna go that route, and I don't see why they wouldn't,
Yeah.
Stallone would definitely want to be a part of this in some way if they're gonna have his name on it.
Oh yeah, no, he'll probably, he'll probably be like a consultant or whatever, or a Sylvester Stallone consultant, helping the actor, play the role right. So like when he goes, "Hey Hulk, how you doing today?" With the no, you're supposed to say it like this. Hey, like there'll be an argument between the two actors, how to play Stallone right.
Yeah,
I see.
definitely.
I definitely see Stallone doing that, just arguing. No, you're supposed to go like this.
Yeah, I recently seen a poster that somebody had
Hmm.
from a show in the early '80s with Hulk Hogan on an AWA show,
Yeah.
and it mentions even on the poster star of Rocky 3
Oh wow.
because they knew Hulk Hogan wasn't a big enough name to draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which Ole Anderson ran into the same problem when he had Sterling Golden. He fired him because he actually said this kid's never going to amount to anything in the business.
And well, he became something.
Stick to Wrestling yesterday actually showed well, not showed, its podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but they played back the audio of an interview that Ole did in 2003 with Dave Meltzer,
Mm-hmm.
and the two of them did not get along at all.
Wow.
Especially on the subject of Hogan, because Meltzer asked him how you feel about letting that Sterling go.
Mm-hmm. What do you say?
And Ole stands by his decision, saying that Hogan was not a draw.
Look, all I gotta say, and with all due respect to Hulk Hogan, he was just at the right place at the right time. That's all I gotta say about that.
As far as what a wrestler has to do for the promoter, they have to win,
Mm-hmm.
lose, or draw.
Mm-hmm.
Draw meaning draw
Money,
people, draw. Double
draw
meaning.
money. No,
Huh?
but you know what I'm saying though, right? It's like he was at the right place at the right time. Vince, had a specific look. He fit the mold, and both Vinces, senior and junior, and apparently, when he left so he could do Rocky 3, and then Vince Jr. brought him back again. He fit that mold, and he was just at the right place at the right time, with everything Vince Jr. was doing, and it's just if and as a kid, I thoroughly enjoyed Hulk Hogan as a kid. I was a big Hulkamaniac, but then as I got older, and then and I got involved in the business, and I got to learn, and speaking with some of the legends, and going back and forth, it's like he couldn't really work. He didn't have a big enough move set, and it was like, I don't know if it was on purpose or what. It's like his stuff in Japan was better. His earlier stuff in Japan was better than.
Well, that was because they weren't going to tolerate anything less over there in Japan.
Yeah, but
I mean, he had a great tag match with Muda against the Road Warriors.
yeah.
Not the Road Warriors Hawk and Animal, but the
Hmm.
Road Warriors. They had a different name. They were something else Warriors.
Hmm.
It was Hawk and Kensuke Sasaki.
Hmm. But yeah, but but again, is that why couldn't they have the same thing here? We don't want nothing but the best from you. If we're gonna pay you all this money, you better give us your very
Well,
best.
there's a reason for it that does make sense.
Hmm.
Because if Hogan gave that here,
Hmm.
people would expect it of him. And Vince didn't want guys to put their bodies at risk if they didn't have to because they were huge drawing powers. And if you injure the top guy, then you're screwed.
I mean,
So they
yeah,
needed Hogan to kind of have a that crutch, you know.
yeah, in a way, it does hurt them. It does hurt them. In a way,
Oh,
it hurt.
absolutely. That's why wrestling's in the bad state it's in right now. And
Hmm.
I don't mean state as in like the United States. I mean just like the way they are.
The
It's
condition.
because they've killed any kind of credibility that wrestling had.
Exactly.
They've
Exactly.
turned it into a joke, and that it started before AEW.
Yeah.
Let's face it, WWE had some really dumb, hokey stuff going on. So did WCW.
Yeah.
They all did it.
Yeah. I mean, you take away the credibility. I mean, what's what was the point of professional wrestling? Before any of this, it was to present like an athletic competition. To I mean, to really get the crowd into your match, telling the story in the match. And they killed it with the hokey characters. They killed it with not letting workers work. You know what I mean? And like so many other things, that they did to kill it, and and it's no
Yeah,
wonder.
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's no wonder. It's like you got former fans. Why they leave, because it's like.
Like I made mention many times in 2002 when Vince did the storyline of he's going to kill the WWF,
Hmm.
and it he was right. He did because just a few months later they became WWE.
Yeah.
So he did kill the WWF.
Yeah. But it's just.
But depends on how you look at it.
I think Jim Cornette, he was I'm trying to remember his exact words. He says Vince McMahon really wanted to be a movie producer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he was doing all the stuff that he was doing. And even now with uh
Vince wants to run the entire entertainment industry, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, I agree.
Not just movies, but even football. Vince doesn't know much about football, but he's obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I think the reason is just because, like Monday Night Football, the Super Bowl, Vince wants to be. He likes when he hears somebody say that WrestleMania is bigger than the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Because I don't think Vince has ever actually watched a Super Bowl.
No, I doubt.
I think he just knows of it, that it's this thing that's big like WrestleMania. And in Vince's head, when he hears it's bigger than the Super Bowl, he goes, "Yeah, we're better than them, pal."
Yeah. No, it's like with his own product, right? So with his own product, he brings in a big star from somewhere else, but he's never seen any of their matches. And then he tries to turn them into something that they're not. And so many other different things, it's like he destroys whatever credibility this wrestler had from the past. It's like it's ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like he's blind. He's blind. If you don't look at your competition, here's the thing with Vince. Okay, he doesn't check out his competition. He doesn't pay attention to his competition other than numbers. If he would actually watch a football game, if he would actually watch a football game and try to understand the game and actually even try to play the game, whether it's flag football or something, and really try to understand why the NFL is where it's at, and then incorporate what he learned into into the XFL, and it could have still really be alive. But no, he wants to go head to head with the NFL, on their season. You don't do that. You don't do that. You're not. If you're gonna, if you start, and if I'm passionate about this. If he was gonna start the XFL properly, he should have had the XFL season on the NFL off season to get people into it.
Well, they did the first time around.
But it's just it's ridiculous. It's like he wants
In
he
fact, they did this time around too. So
but no, but it's like he
they
wants to
did.
go head to head. And
He
for
can't because they're in the same buildings. Even
yeah, exactly.
Vince didn't buy his own football fields.
It was just there's so many different things to it. So it's the same thing with wrestling. It's like if you don't check out what your competition is doing, and at the time with WCW, because AEW, you can't really say anything because it's like they're looking at WWE, even though they deny it, they're looking at WWE trying to see what they could do better or make whatever. You know what I mean? But at the time with WCW, it's like if you was paying attention to what they were doing, like okay, well, why do people like WCW? Okay, let me look at it and blah blah blah, and then he can incorporate. Okay, well, you know what? Let me change something here. Let me change something there. Let me not do any of this hokey crap. Uh, whatever. And even now with AEW, it's like okay, why do people like AEW? It's like oh, they're copying us. Okay, we stick with what we're doing or whatever. I don't know. It's just he never checks out his competition. And I often wonder if he even watches any movies, like any actual movies.
Well, no, they said that he doesn't. Like
So
he finds out about movies
yeah,
like long after the fact. Like he heard the concept of the movie The Jerk,
yeah,
and that was how Akeem the African Dream was created.
yeah. So it's
But
like no, but I'm saying, but
Vince
even
doesn't get it. He doesn't understand movies or anything.
yeah. So and then with the WWE films, he green lights whatever film is out there. All because Triple H is in it, or this, or that, or I mean, come on now. The chaperone. Oh man, I think the only
Yeah,
movies,
that's what you want running into a field trip.
yeah, yeah, I think the only two movies that I thoroughly enjoyed as far as that it would be Knucklehead with the Big Show and the first Marine with John Cena. After
I hate that movie, The First Marine with John Cena. The one I like is 12 Rounds
no
with John
12, oh
Cena.
yeah, 12 rounds is good. I like 12 rounds, and
12
then
Rounds is my favorite. And then I like 12 Round 3, Lockdown with Dean Ambrose. That was good.
yeah, that was decent. That was decent. But you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, but it's like compared to like the Marine 4 with the Miz or
Chaperone.
yeah, the Chaperone or any other. It's like
The reunion wasn't terrible.
I didn't see that one.
I just watched that recently. It's on Tubi, and
Okay,
it's not terrible.
I gotta check it out then. I got Tubi.
It's not good though, but it's not terrible. The plot is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
The acting is overacting many times, but it's an entertaining movie, and that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the point of a movie is to be entertained,
Yeah, but it's
and it
it's
does entertain you.
yeah.
I'll give it to that.
I mean, and my thing is that as someone who produces content, you know what I mean, someone who produces content and whatever, I often check out what other people are doing, not to copy them or anything, but to figure out, okay, why do people like this, that, and the other? And my thing with me is that I don't wanna, I never wanna try to outdo myself because I try, for me, I never want to try to outdo myself, but just do something different. Do something different. Not copy anybody else, not try to outdo myself like I'm in a competition, but just keep doing something different, you know? And it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah. And with Vince McMahon, whether it's with wrestling or anything, it's kind of like he wants to outdo everybody else by but he doesn't even check out the competition or anything, and then if he tries doing something different, it makes no sense.
Well, that was the problem with the Brawl for All.
Yeah.
He heard this contest, and Vince's head automatically thinks boxing gloves and have a boxing fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what Russo was talking. Russo was trying to do full-fledged UFC.
Yeah.
But Vince didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
So Vince's like, oh yeah, they're gonna put on the gloves, pal. And that's what they did.
I mean, when Steve, when Steve Blackman and was in there and he did his thing. I mean, it was just like you couldn't really do anything. How can you do a takedown? How can you do a takedown? How can you do this? How can you do that? Your hands are in these boxing gloves, and it's like, it's, I don't know, man. Vince has been out of touch with everything for as long as anybody can remember. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, Hall and Oates, that's who the song is written too, right? It's
Yep.
written to Vince.
Yep. Exactly.
Those are you young viewers that don't get that. Shame on you for not knowing good music.
Look them up on YouTube.
Do we have
Wonderful.
any questions coming this week that we didn't get to?
Nope. Nope. Well, somebody asked a question earlier, but I answered it on the chat because it was
Okay then.
it was on a topic that we just finished talking about.
So, do you have anything to add before we wrap this up this week?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I gotta get some rest. I got some filming to do tomorrow. I got a lot of things.
I know the feeling. All right. So with that, we are going to end on that note, but we will be back next week. And make sure, like we said, that you check out our other shows as well. Keep an eye out on the Big Time Jimmy Larson channel tomorrow for a commercial for next week's review. And the commercial is going to be very funny, so make sure you check it out. And we'll be back, like I said, next Saturday with another edition of the What's Going Down podcast. And if you have an idea for a topic that you want to hear us discuss, contact us at one of those contacts and let us know your idea, and we will bring it up on the show. And we'll even give you a credit if you would like. We will mention that you were the one who gave us the idea to do the show based on that theme. So until then, I'm Big Time Jimmy Larson. He's CT Bishop, and we'll see you next Saturday to see what's going down.